Hey everyone, so in today's conversation, I'm talking about why we must separate the art and the artist. And all I ask of you is that you keep an open mind. See, you'll find out in this conversation that it's deeper than just art and artists, but about allowing ourselves to be contradictions. I hope you enjoy. Think of a life without the like of imagination that's prospering. The bodies that you consider genius, you like to box them in. The great debaters and thinkers, they gave you a voice. Why can't you prosecute the crimes and not the thoughts I employ? Because your better judgment will always look down on me. I got a theory that most of y'all won't allow to see. It goes like this: talent doesn't choose morality. I can't help but jump in these bodies and you called them a god. Just know the earth is just a rock without the voices of art. I feared being canceled, ostracized, saying the wrong thing, but prayers by Kendrick make me realize that we are all walking contradictions. I can say something today and do something tomorrow, or in that moment that doesn't align with what I said. That doesn't make me any less of enough, it makes me human. When I think about the art and the artist, this great conversation of should you separate the art from the artist, the first person that comes to mind is R. Kelly, because he was the first person who I had to ask myself those questions about. I don't even listen to R. Kelly, but when I found out about what he did to all those women, that weird shit he was doing, I was like, it is the art and the artist together. Kanye, that's where things started to get blurry for me. But Kanye, see, my thing with Kanye is I didn't grow up on Kanye. I found out about Kanye maybe in 2022. I know. I knew who Kanye was as a person. Like, I knew he existed. I knew that there was someone in the world named Kanye West, and he was married to Kim Kardashian, and he made music. But I had no idea who he was as a person. And then his documentary Genius came out, and I fell in love. I fell in love because I saw myself in him. And I loved his ambition and his confidence and his talent. And when I listen to his songs, they remind me of that feeling of seeing him in that documentary and seeing myself in him. And it gives me like hope. It fills my spirits, especially his early work. So when I think about Falls Down or Everything I Am or Champion, all these songs by Kanye, they're amazing. But as you all know, Kanye, as of recently, has been a little bit controversial. There are things that he does that I don't agree with. And when I say stand beside Kanye, I realize that I'm not saying stand beside him as a person, because if he's harming people, that's not someone I want to stand beside. But I do stand beside the Kanye that makes the music that I listen to. I love that man. And when I say I love Kanye, I'm really saying I love his music because I don't know Kanye. And so here comes down to the issue of the art and the artist. As an artist myself, I know that when I create things and I nurture them, when I'm working on scripts, when I'm working on films, when I'm working on videos, I'm creating a living entity outside of myself. I really do think of creations like my children. Like, as children, you have to nurture these creations. You have to feed them. You have to bring them into the world. You have to figure out their mannerisms, how they work, their personality. It's the same thing with art. Everything I make, it feels like it's a living, breathing thing of its own. I feel like a mother who is going through a 9-month term, birthing something new. I have to get to learn the actual project in and of itself because it's outside of me. It's just something that came from me. And once that object is done, it is its own entity. It exists on its own. It itself has a voice of its own, an impact of its own, and people relate that art to me because I am the creator. But that art lives on its own. Whether I die or not, that art exists for everyone. So this song, which I think does so beautifully, is it speaks in the personification of creations made by Martin Luther King and I was about to say Malcolm X. Michael Jackson and Martin Luther King. He speaks first from the song ABC and how when Michael Jackson started facing accusations of pedophilia, a lot of people use that song to defend those accusations. And Malcolm X, we all know about Malcolm X's controversy with the white woman. Oh, it hurt. And how that began to discredit everything he was doing. But guys, we cannot argue. Or we can argue. Maybe this is the argument. What MLK did for the movement, what Michael Jackson did for the movement, what they contributed to society, to the culture, it is undisputable that it is like it lives through us. Every musician exists because Michael Jackson paved a way. I can play outside because Martin Luther King paved a way. They did things that were so hard that we can't even imagine doing, and I respect that. But that doesn't mean that they're perfect beings. And that doesn't mean that because they're imperfect, that it invalidates everything that they contributed to society. There's this quote on my wall that says, "You will live, you will make mistakes, you will say the wrong things, and people will love you anyway." There's a lot. So the layer I'm talking about first is the artistry. We create things that exist outside of ourselves, and we are flawed. But just because we are flawed and imperfect individuals doesn't mean that our contributions to society are null. When people make mistakes, it is not our responsibility to forgive them. But I do think we can do better as a culture, as a society, as a collective, as a 2024, everyone who's watching this video, at not canceling people. Because I truthfully do believe this brings up cancel culture and a lack of accountability and also lack of integrity. I believe that we are all walking contradictions. And I think if anyone says anything different, they're a liar. You're two-faced. You're two-faced because you're hiding your other face. We all have two faces. Let them both show. Like, we are a contradiction. We are walking contradictions. I am unperfect, but I can also say I am perfect. I am not God, but I can say I am God. You know, I don't know anything, but at the same time, I believe all the answers are within me, so I do know. We are walking contradictions. I can say something today and have a different viewpoint the next. And I think when we allow ourselves to be these contradictions that we are, when we allow ourselves to grow and evolve from thoughts and patterns and realize that we are still ourselves, that we ourselves had held two different beliefs or two different walks of life when compared to each other, we can stop being so hard on ourselves for changing our beliefs, for changing our patterns, for choosing something different today. It's saying, yes, every day up until now I've loved green, but now I'm feeling like pink. And if I wear pink, then that might mean, well, she just said she loved green, but obviously she don't love green because she's wearing pink. Because she just said she can wear green all the time, but obviously she's wearing pink right now. And I can let myself be a contradiction. I can let myself I can allow myself to wear pink, even though I just told you that I love green, I'll only ever wear green. And sometimes it's hard for us to change who we are because we have tied ourselves to identities, not understanding that we are contradictions, that we change and evolve. And I think it's more than just, oh, I grew out of that. Because I think sometimes it's not even growing out of something. It's just saying, I love this too. You know? Sometimes it's just saying, because I think about, evolution and growth, we all go through, and some things are dead and now we become a new person. So all those things, because it's also saying, okay, if I grow out of it, that means all those things that I said before, they died, right? And now I'm this new person, new beliefs, new ideas. But I'm also trying to dispute that actually, those old beliefs might still have some resonance in you, and you've adopted new beliefs. Like, those two things exist at the same time. One doesn't have to die for the other to live. We are contradictions, right? But ideally, what I'm really trying to say is if MLK was alive and did what he did, I realized that I can be disappointed in him as a man. Like, he had a responsibility to like his vows to his wife. But I can also realize that I also have to hold what he's contributed apart from himself. Because then I would let everything that he's worked for die because he messed up, because he made a mistake. I do believe that people can come back from mistakes. I actually believe that when people make mistakes, it is our responsibility as a collective to hold space for them, to understand where they're coming from, to bestow knowledge and information, and give them the option to rectify it and be accountable. Accountability is a word that always comes up in these conversations because I feel that everyone needs to be accountable, but society makes it super duper hard to be accountable. Society makes it stupid hard to say, I messed up, because society is so quick to cancel you. And so it's like we can't even have people who are able to voice their accountability and say, I messed up, I take on ownership of what I did wrong. Instead, celebrities and people who have like any recognition are escaping the truth because they know that the media will just tear them down even more. So there's not even a space for accountability to exist. We're not even letting people be accountable because the moment someone says, yeah, I messed up, we're like, okay, well, bye. I think it's our responsibility as a collective to understand that people will do messy shit, fucked up shit. But if they are willing to be accountable, if they're willing to grow from that, I think it's our responsibility to hold the space for them to do that, you know, to allow them to do so. But back to artists specifically, letting separate. I think it's important that we have to separate the two, because it's so evident now when I think about Martin Luther King, when I think about Michael Jackson, when I think about Kanye, that their work exists outside of themselves, that they are not the work, even though the work came from them. Isn't that crazy? I do believe that God uses us as vessels, but isn't it crazy to think that the work that we do has something to do with us? Now, it has nothing to do with us, because sometimes it's derived from our personal experiences and the life that we've lived. But I think it just flowed through us. I really do feel like it doesn't belong to us. It came from a source. I call that source God, universe. And I feel like we were the vessels that it flowed through, and now it exists. But here comes a conversation of integrity. So Google defines integrity: the quality of being honest and having strong moral principles, moral uprightness. I don't think that being walking contradictions means that we forfeit integrity. Because it's like, okay, we are contradictions by nature, which is okay. It's our nature. You know, some people who believe in Christianity say it's our nature to sin. We're walking contradictions in my book of philosophy. But if that's so, I'm not saying that because we're walking contradictions, we can contradict or forfeit the responsibility of integrity, or just say integrity doesn't matter. And then what integrity is really saying is, if I say this, I'm gonna do this. When we say he sticks beside his word, that's what that means. I'm a man of my word, I'm a woman of my word, I'm a person of my word. What I say I'm gonna do. I feel like that's important. Integrity is important. I think that for MLK, for example, to talk so much about Black empowerment, and this Black empowerment heavily has to emphasize women, because women are the most disrespected in the world. Black women are the most disrespected in the world. To do that to your Black woman with a white woman, I think is crazy business. It is a complete contradiction to everything that you've preached. You know, practice what you preach. I think that's important. Integrity is something we should strive for. But got a little something in my throat. Integrity is something we should strive for, but it's not to say we are perfect. You know, like, I think it's, when I think about even marriage and adultery in marriage, whatever lines that comes across, it's wrong. You know, you made a commitment to somebody to do something. So once you step outside that commitment, you lied. You're a liar. Integrity is saying, I ain't gonna lie to you. And I think we should strive for integrity, but that doesn't mean that we won't mess up. But I am saying that we should hold space for those mess ups and allow those people to be accountable for those mess ups and say, I did this wrong. And we don't have to forgive people. That's a journey for you. But for me, on my wall, I will make mistakes, I will say the wrong things, and people will still love me anyway. Because where it comes down to a personal level, outside of my artistry, outside of the works that exist before I move on to my personal life, actually, the works that exist within me that I share stand as alone as their own entities. Like, listening to that song alleviated a lot of the pressure I felt on my back from feeling like, for messing up on social media. I have another post on my wall that says, "You with internet, nothing." But I think a part of me was really scared of being a contradiction online, because I was just like, and I say online, but really I'm just saying, like, online was the place that I first got my exposure to the entertainment industry. But I do more than just online. Like, I write and I produce, right? But I'm saying, like, my art. Like, I post my art online. Okay, I just wanted to clear that up. I was really afraid of being a contradiction online because I thought I was gonna get canceled. Not that I thought it was gonna be this big, the shade room cancellation, but I think that's what I associate cancellation with. A cancellation can just be I don't follow you. Really, it's not that huge. I think people have canceled me already, probably. But in my mind, it's saying, it makes it this narrative like it's gonna be this big viral moment and everyone's gonna start hating on me on the internet, like Daniel Caesar. And I don't want to do that. I want to not do that. But the thing with being an artist is that, or even just being a person, we will say things that people don't agree with. We will say things. We will walk into a room and not read the room and say something that frustrates people. And I'm saying to myself, as those fears arise, like, I might ruffle some feathers and saying to myself, yeah, you might. And that's a good thing. Because the thing with being authentic and not censoring ourselves is our ideas and beliefs and who we are get put to the forefront. They are put out in the world. And I believe that it is only in this way that our ideas and beliefs can be transformed, altered, criticized, forced to grow. If I have a personal belief about how the world works, but I just keep it to myself and just, like, navigate the world in that way, then that's how my life is. But if I have a personal belief about how the world works and then I share it to my friends, in that moment, I am kind of opening up my world and allowing them to share perspectives, to share knowledge, share insight that might change my view on the world. And so I think when we allow ourselves to be disruptors, when we allow conflict, and we build better conflict resolution skills, because I know y'all like that. I like it, so I know y'all like it too. We lack conflict resolution skills. And I think a part of that's because we are just so afraid of upsetting the other person in the room. We are so afraid of upsetting the other person in the room that, once upset things happen, we're like, what do we do? Because we have no skills that build on that, because we've been so accustomed to being receptible. So I believe that it's important for me to ruffle some feathers and, like, saying, hey, it not only is it okay, it is good. Even though it doesn't feel good, even though it feels scary, it is good, because maybe you can come out of this conversation a different person. Maybe they can come out of this conversation a different person. And honestly, like, it just makes me feel a little bit lighter. Like, when I feel like I don't have to, close my mouth all the time, when I feel something and I say something, I can just be who I am. I like that. Picasso. Okay. Let me know if I should do more videos like this. Honestly, let me know if you are a creator in Savannah, Georgia, who wants to partner with me. I know I'm like fake begging, but I'm not. Like, I really love making videos. I have no interest in the actual part of making the video. I just want to, like, talk a lot. So if you're in the Savannah area and want to help me edit these videos or bring about better quality, then let's do that. But I also allow myself to be a contradiction in even the quality I bring. Like, some videos, amazing quality. This video, it's on my iPhone. I don't care, I do care, actually, a lot. I care about getting these ideas out there, and so that's why I let myself be a contradiction.